Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to see 5 more questions for practicing for CKA exam. So without further delay, let's get started. Question 6. Review current deployment, my deployment and image used. Update the image of the deployment to 1.20. Okay, so let's get into cluster, check for number of pods running. You can see there is one pod which is part of the deployment. You can see from the name, but let me see the deployment as well. So you can see the deployment is created. And if you haven't seen my earlier video, K is the alias we are using for this particular kubectl, and you can see it in cheat sheet, right? So this is how it is, and in exam it's already said, so you do not need to worry about it. Okay, so with that, let's describe deployment, my deployment, and look for image. Okay, so this is the image what we are using. So if you see the command, I just grabbed image from there, and I can see that ngin is 1.19, and what question says is update is to 1.20. okay, so let's use kubectl set image deployment, my deployment, and here you need to name the container annex is equal to nginx 1.20. okay, so you can see the commands kubectl set image deploy or deployment. Deploy is a short name for deployment. Then deployment name, my deployment, nginx, which is a container name, is equal to nginx, and this is the image name, right? So, and one thing you should note is here I am using container image. So if you go and describe this particular deployment and see the container name, you should be able to see that it is nginx. So let's do that and make sure that deployment is good, and you can see pod running. You can see the pod is running from 10 seconds. Okay, so again what we can do is just describe deployment again and look for the image, and you can see it is new image now, which is like nginx 1.20. okay, that's it for this question. Question 7. List the internal IPs of all the nodes and write those to certain file. It is CKA nodes_ip.out. okay, so first go to documentation, and when you see this question, you should get, like, one of the way of doing it is using JSON path. So go to the documentation, search for cheat sheet, and cheat sheet is quite handy. You should practice with using this particular document, right? So go to cheat sheet, search for external you can see it says get external IPs of all the nodes. So we'll see how to use it. But just copy paste this and go into cluster, and instead of external IP, change it to internal IP and addresses. You can see you get the internal IP of the node, and we have only one node, but if it is in exam it will be more than one. It would be like 2 nodes, or most of the time is 2 nodes, so you will get 2 IP addresses. okay, so put this IP address into CKA nodes_ip.out, and make sure you copy it from the question so they do not make any typos. Then verify CKA nodes.out. okay, yeah, so you can see that internal IP is captured, and like up to this you are done with the question, so you should be good. But as we are doing practice, I want to give you a tip on that, right? Like how we can use JSON path. So if you go here, just remove this address, right? And there could be more than one way to get this information, but here I'm just showing you as we are practicing, right? So if you do this address, you will get this. So instead use JQ. JQ is like you will in a pretty format. So like in exam, JQ is already installed, so you can see that how we got this internal IP. So it, whatever command it used, right, it searched for it. If you see it here, it searched for type is equal to internal IP. So show me those record where type is equal to internal IP. You can work with JSON path and try it yourself, but I just want to explain it, right? Instead of moving to next question, I just want to take few minutes and explain you how this is arrived. So you can see this is a address, and this is like from the addresses array we are able to see this. So literally what you can do is, instead of using that filter type is equal to internal IP, you can even do this, right? You can still see what it is giving us, and then just do dot address, and you should be able to see the same thing. So this is like the different ways of getting what you need, but like practice with JSON path, it is going to be helpful. In my exam, I haven't got a single question on JSON path, but that doesn't mean it won't come. So practice with it. Okay, that's it for this question. We'll go to the next one. Question 8. Create ReplicaSet HR app with image NGINX latest and 2 replicas. So let's see how to create this. First of all, you cannot have create command for ReplicaSet from command line or imperative way. Instead, what you will do is you create deployment, create a YAML out of it, and then use it to change it for ReplicaSet. Okay, so create deployment HR app image NGINX latest replicas to dry run is equal to client -o YAML, right? Then put it in one of the file. Usually I do question number ReplicaSet YAML. So if you want to come back to this question later, so you have YAML file, you should remember. So that's the reason I usually put question number in the beginning. Okay, so now change deployment to ReplicaSet. Okay, ReplicaSet. Yeah, I'll just remove what is not needed. Okay, I can remove resources and status, but let's have it. I don't see that is going to cause problems. Okay, so then create -f and ReplicaSet. That's it. So ReplicaSet is created. If you do get ReplicaSet, you can see ReplicaSet is created and 2 are ready, 2 pods. So if you do pods, you can see HR app, 2 pods are running. It's always good to validate what you did, so that like if there are any typos and all that, we can catch it sooner. Okay, so images NGINX, and we know like 2 pods are created for this ReplicaSet, or that is 2 replicas. So that's it for this question. Let's move on to the next one. Question 9. Create a pod and expose it as a service. Use below information. Right, so let's see how to do that. Then you first create a pod. Pod name is given web app. Image is Redis Alpine. Right, that's it. So this pod is created. Make sure it's running. You can see web app is running. So expose it using expose command. kubectl expose pod name, then name is equal to server name, like a service name, app svc, port is given 80, target port is equal to 80 again. If you don't specify target port, it will take as the same port. Oh yeah, it should be 8080. So let me go back and change the port number. Okay, So this create the service. Let me see, it's created. Validate what we did. SVC service is created. This describes the service. Service web app SVC, and you can see the target port is specified correct, port is good, and service name is correct as well. And if you see, the type is cluster IP, which is default. So that's it for this question. Question 10. Taint a node minikube and test it by creating pods, and it gives us the taint information. It even given what are the pods should be created, and pod 2 should have tolerations. So like pod 1, if you see the question, what we understand is we are tainting node, then creating a pod without toleration. So we expect that it will not be scheduled, and pod 2 will have a tolerations and schedule the pod. Okay, so let's get started. First, see the node name just to ensure. And in exam, whenever you are doing something, right, make sure that you are like setting up the right context, and instructions will be very clear. On the left side, you get the command to set context. You just every time you run it, just a tip, node is there. So this is a command kubectl tent node minikube. You can see the command how to do that. It is pretty much like, you can see tent and then key env equal to value, which is prod colon and effect, no schedule. Okay, tent node minikube. Sorry, I just didn't remove -h from there. Okay, so key, value and effect, no schedule. Okay, so you can see tent is created, and the easiest way to confirm is describe node minikube grep -i tent. Right, you can see the tent is attached to it. Okay, so now you will create pod 1. So k run dev app image, and image is Redis Alpine. Okay, so if you see this, pod is created, but dev app is pending. You can see it's pending. Even if you rerun it, dev app, you will see that it's still pending. So let's see how to make sure that pod is created using tolerations. So to do that, go to documentation, search for tent or toleration, right? Just go to tolerations and see how to specify toleration. You can see the way we specify toleration is this way. Just let me copy this, Control C, and when you create a pod, it is in specifications, spec, and then tolerations. Okay, let's go back and create a command first. K run prod app image is equal to Redis Alpine, and then create dry run equal to client YAML format. Put it in one of the file. I do 10.pod.yaml. Go to the file, and here under spec you can add tent. Okay, so this formatting is misplaced, so let me just do formatting. So Control V, and this is very handy to know how to do this. So I just will do Control V, then you can choose whatever block you want to move, and then shift and right arrow. So that's how one time I can go front, all the 4 lines together. You can do it one line at a time, but this is more effective. So keys, environment, then value is prod, and no schedule is already there. Okay, so let's create this pod. So get pods, and I want to see prod app, and you can see it is created, and you can just review it, like you can just describe pod, prod, then prod app, grep, an image. Yeah, it's always good practice to make sure that things are correct, no typos and all that. Okay, so this is how tolerations can be used. And the quick tip, when you want to remove tent, this is not part of the exam, sorry, not part of this question. We are done with the question, all good. Pod dev app cannot be scheduled because we haven't used toleration, and we have tented node, and second pod we created with toleration, so we are successfully able to run that pod on the minikube node. But just a bonus, like how we are going to remove the tent if you need to, not part of this question. Don't do it in question like exam if question only says this, but I just want to show you that. Describe, then node, minikube, grep, tent, and what you can do is just same command, tent node minikube, just give the same information for 10. Okay, I missed it something. Okay, this is a tent, K10 node minikube ny prod, no schedule, and just do hyphen at the end, minus or hyphen, and that will remove the tent. If you do that, no tents are there. Okay, that's it for this particular question, and thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new, and I'll come up with yet another set of questions to help you practice and pass your CKA exam with flying colors. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Okay, see you again with yet another exciting tutorial. Keep learning, keep sharing what you learn, and thanks for watching.